Hey guys, today you'll be watching how I edited this 8-bit video right here.
Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious? It's the Lamborghini. And I bet you're wondering why the fuck would I even ask that? So, let's make this question a lot more interesting. Let's say this piece of junk is fully modified and has 1000 horsepower. And the performance of the Lamborghini is super mid. Which one is easier to sell? And it's still the Lambo. This is because the brand has a certain level of authority that people gravitate towards. So, let's replace these two cars with two people. Both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content, generates hundreds and thousands of views, has client testimonials and case studies, and the other has like 10 posts and doesn't take content seriously. Who would you buy from? Obviously the one with the personal brand. And this is the exact thing that will make you stand out from everybody else that sells the same thing as you. So if you found this valuable, follow me for more.
And just a quick disclaimer, this video took me a while to film. There's so much going on. In this video it's like 2 hours long, but in reality it took me 6 hours to edit this video. So it might be quick, a little bit discombobulated and everything, but I'm not going to waste any more of your guys' times. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Take care. Peace.
So today I'm going to be editing one of my styles, which is an 8-bit retro vintage style. And yeah, I'll take you through the exact same processes. So I already have my video cut up and color graded, but one thing that I like to do that's super important for me, I always like to have a pattern interrupt at the start of my video. So I use the Katna punch out preset, which is this, and I'll try and make it faster. You know, I'm gonna make it faster just in case, like this. And what that does, it zooms in.
Quick question.
And allows me to zoom out, right? And I'm gonna slide, because it zooms in a little bit, I'm gonna move it in a little bit more as well.
Quick question. Let's say these.
All right, nice. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna apply text. Quick. The best one that I like to use, maybe I should start implementing visual hooks in my videos, but again, like I don't really include visual hooks. I'm gonna try my best to start including them, but again, I like to use the Europa Grotesque one. Europa Grotesque. So quick. So I'm gonna make this bigger. Let's actually fast forward it a bit. Cut that, and then make it bigger. Quick. So now I have an idea of where I actually want to place it. I'm gonna place it here. I always include my captions around this area, right under my chin, because again, that's just where it makes the most sense to me. You know, quick. And I'm not gonna make it that big. So quick question. Now I'm gonna align these two. I'm gonna pretend there's a line here and there's a line here. I'm gonna align these two texts here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slightly overlay the text like this, right? And you're probably wondering why it's not in the center. So the reason why is because I'm aligning the text here. So these two are aligned, and then the I stops here. So everything is starting to make sense. And the distance between the K and U is the same distance with that. But you may notice there's the Q is slightly overlaying here. So one thing that I like to do here is I like to play around with the shadow, right? Just to make it pop a lot more. I like to make sure the shadow is facing upwards like this. Turn up all the opacity, turn it black, and then I like to fade the shadow. I like to blur the shadow out a lot more, like this, like that. Like blur it way out a lot more. Let's turn that down. Let's turn that up more. Let's leave this at 4. Now, as you can see, they're laid on top of each other, like this.
Quick.
Now I'm always gonna add some shadow here, some form of drop shadow to the bottom one, just so it's a lot more visible. Actually, I'm gonna do it manually. So shadow, that, turn that up, turn up this, so it's a lot more visible. As you can see now.
Quick question.
Question. There you go. Now it's starting to make more sense. So So other than that, I also like to use cross dissolve. You don't have to make a preset for this. It's already built in, and it's in a fade in that's a lot more easier to control as well.
Quick question.
I'm gonna make it a lot more. I'm gonna make it a bit longer, like this.
Quick question.
So now it's a lot more smoother. I'm actually going to turn down the distance, maybe. Yeah, I'm going to turn down the distance, or turn it to at least like 3, like that. So as you can see now, it's a lot more cleaner finish, and you can clearly see how it's distinguishable. So yeah. Now one thing that I like to do, I'm going to go for an 8-bit style here, but I am going to use the custom made assets that I've made, and I've recently uploaded this, and it's an 8-bit question mark here. I've already made the animation and everything, so it's just this, and I'm going to actually layer it below the text. So I'm going to actually need more space for this. I'm going to move that up, move it here.
Quick
question. And then I'm going to have this pop in here when I say question. Go back. As you can see, it's slightly popping out as well. It just adds, so like if I move it forward as well, it looks like it's like a 3D effect. Now I'm going to shrink that, and I'm going to move it here. I'm actually going to move the text further to the left, just so there's space, because I always want to bear in mind the safe zone. And a lot of editors made this mistake, huge mistake, is they always made their assets really close to the safe zone. And I'm actually going to move this down here, just like that, right? And I'm going to layer it on top like that. And then I'm also going to turn down the opacity to at least 90 or 95, right? Like that. So it looks something like this. Actually no, I'm going to leave the opacity at 100, like that.
Quick question.
Let's include the whole animation.
Quick
question.
Quick question.
Like that. And should we layer it before? Yeah, let's layer it below.
Quick question.
Like that, right?
Let's say these two cars
And you can see it's got like the turbulent displace as well.
cost the same price.
But yeah, let's zoom back out and everything. So we have the zoom out, which is a pattern on its right.
Quick question.
We have this, and now I'm gonna add a gentle shake to this as well. Not to the text, but to the asset, just so there's a bit more movement.
Quick question. Let's say these two. Quick question.
All right. I'm gonna have a transition now, right? So I'm gonna cut everything here.
Quick question.
I'm going to actually make this a bit longer, so it's the reason why I'm making this longer is because I want it to be more digestible.
Quick question.
There. And then I'm gonna have a transition here. So I'm going to find a project file, so I don't have to look through my I'd have to look through all like my files and everything, and I'm just gonna take an existing animation, existing thing, and drag and drop into this. So I'm just gonna literally copy and paste and have it here. So quick question.
Let's say these.
There. Just to refresh the canvas that I've already built for myself, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna move that closer in. I'm gonna rotate it a bit more. Let's see, like that. Move it a bit down, because I pay a lot of attention to the placement. I want there to be a balance between the black and thing, right? So I pay a lot of attention to detail to this and everything. So here we go, just like that. And now I'm going to zoom back out. So now we have the first part down.
Quick question.
And I pay so much attention to detail, it's actually it's actually kind of crazy, you know? I'm going to raise this a bit higher, and I'm going to raise this to 15 at least, like that. That looks a lot better.
Quick question. Let's say the.
And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an 8-bit background. And the way in which I do that, excuse this, but okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a white background, you know? maybe I'm gonna search up 8-bit background. Let's see, because essentially I want a texture, something with texture, you know, something that makes a lot of sense. If not, white background is fine. Is this an 8-bit condom? Oh, wait a minute, what the fuck? Anyways, let's continue. Alright, so I'm just gonna use a white background, so I don't even need to do that. I just need to draw a shape layer here, like this, right? And everything, and make it white. This, I love using the color white. It looks so nice to me and everything. So
Quick question. Let's say these two cards.
and now I'm going to essentially find 8-bit Lambo. If I can't find anything here, I'm going to essentially use our 8-bit car. There's nothing here. Alright, so if that's ever the case, I'm gonna go straight to Midjourney. So where's Midjourney? Let's find it. Midjourney. Okay, so I like to imagine, if you guys don't know how to edit on Midjourney, it's imagine, prompt, and then 8-bit Lamborghini. I think I spelled it right. We'll see. I don't know if I spelled it right, but let's see if it gives me a good result. I'm gonna see the results and everything. If I don't like the results, and I'll just keep on practicing. Like I said, I'm not the best at AI prompting. I barely use AI when I edit, but yeah, like again, like I go for, when I edit,
Quick question.
I go for more of a design aspect rather than a like aspect of animation. Of course I'll include animation, but I go for more design. That's why, and the reason why is because you want stuff to be aesthetically pleasing. When you're looking around and you're walking down the street and you see like some aesthetic poster or something like that, you're gonna pay attention to it, and that's one of the best ways to garner attention when it comes to that. So video editing, like you can split up into multiple things: flow, design, animation, and also like relatability or resonance, you know, because like again, the things that you're animating, the things that you're designing, and the assets you're using, it needs to directly correlate to complement the value, not to just overwhelm the value. And that's the biggest mistake a lot of editors make. So that's essentially like the whole point of that. So yeah,
Quick question.
let's review
Let's say
that. Now we have a white background. Let's see if Midjourney gives us a nice car. So imagine 8-bit Lambo, wide angle, toy. Let's see if you can find Lambo wide. I'm gonna pause the let's see. So whilst this is waiting, I'm gonna end the video here, and I'll see you in part 2. Peace. Hey guys, I'm back. Let's see what Midjourney has given me. So let's see. I put Lamo instead of Lambo. You know what? I think I'm just gonna go for something like that. Let me just a sec. Imagine 8-bit Lamborghini. Bro, I have no idea how to spell Lamborghini. Excuse my spelling. Did I put 9-bit? 9-bit. Imagine 8-bit Lambor. Guys, like the reality of me editing is, right, like I mess up. My mind is so every single time, and like it's just like the best creatives have the messiest workflow, you know, because we're the most creative at the end of the day. We have so many ideas popping through our heads and everything. So yeah, imagine I'm gonna make it red. 8-bit red Lamborghini cartoon style, like that. So yeah, I'm just waiting for this to load and everything. This video is gonna be pretty raw, uncut, but I hope you're enjoying the commentary. The purpose of this editing tutorial is not only to give you guys value, but it's also to be entertaining for you guys as well, because again, like you can learn everything as well. But if you don't actually enjoy the video or anything, then it's not really worth watching. And yeah, like my goal with you guys is to essentially build a cult like following, and like some form of connection with you guys, because I think that's probably the most important thing. I'm gonna repurpose this because I'm liking the direction that it's going. I'm thinking of using this very soon, or I might use this. We'll see which one that we go for and everything. I'm also gonna, whilst that's going on, I'm gonna also 8-bit junk car cartoon, and then we'll have something like that. I'm gonna use this actually. This is so clean. It's either this or that. Let's rewind it. Imagine 8-bit pixelated red Lamborghini cartoon. Imagine 8-bit pixelated junk car cartoon by itself. I'm thinking of using this orange car, but let's keep running it and everything, because we're getting closer to where we want. With AI, it's a lot of trial and error, like a lot of trial and error and everything. So okay, I like that. Okay, I like that. So we're gonna go with version 3. Let's go with version 3 here, and then let's go with version 3 here. So we have multiple cars now, if they load up. So once that's done loading, I'm gonna put them into Canva and everything, and I'll work my magic in After Effects, creating animations for them and everything, and we'll see what goes on. But yeah, let's see. And I'm gonna like turn these into like things individually. The only reason why is because I want to make sure that I save these as project files, because if I can save these as project files, then I can essentially give it out to you guys, or save these as custom made assets. I can give it out to you guys as well, so you guys don't have to remake or go through this over again and everything. So yeah, I'm just gonna save this, put them each into Canva. So let's go into Canva and everything. Downloads, let's see where these saved. So this one here, I'm going to remove the background. The only reason why I'm still using Canva is because, bro, it's so like efficient, time efficient, because I know how like difficult rotoscoping is. And I'll wait for that to load in. I'll wait for that to finish up and everything. Background removed. We'll remove that again. Hopefully it removes everything. Okay, nice. Okay, we have our 8-bit cars now here. So now let's go into Premiere Pro. Transparent background. After Effects. So we're gonna go back into After Effects. I'm gonna delete this, and now what I'm gonna do is so the beauty of this is I have multiple project files, multiple assets and everything, where I can just literally take like this shape layer. I can literally take this shape layer and essentially just copy and paste it into this, and have it here. Now with regards to this, I'm probably going to have to adjust this the size of it so it's a lot more straight, like this, right? And then I'm going to have to adjust the positioning of the shape layer, so here. So now you can see it's a lot more center and everything. I'm actually going to remove, what am I going to remove from here? I'm going to remove the glow already, because it already has glow. I'm going to remove the drop shadow, and I'm going to remove the, I'm gonna keep should I remove the noise? I'll keep the noise. All right, and then I'm going to turn this up like this. Actually, you know what? Let's turn the noise down to 5 at least. Right, so I have it there. Now I'm going to import the assets and everything. So I'm gonna move it down like this. Now it's starting to look pretty fucking good already and everything. So I have it like that, and you can see like the 8-bit style already like coming into play. Now what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to turn this down to 500. This is a lot more pixelated. Oops, 350. Maybe I can move it to 350. Let's experiment. 500 seems like the best option, right? So I have something like this here, and I'm actually going to add some shadow to here as well. So let's have the shadow into this asset. Let's make sure that it's not too overwhelming, turning down the opacity. And I'm also going to add an animation. So let's see what I can use. I'm going to fade it in. So it's going to pop in like that. All right, cool. Let's move that here. Let's move it like that. Okay, and then I'm also going to add turbulent displace to the car. Just add a bit of movement. I'm going to adjust the settings and everything, and we should have something like this. Yeah, we should have something like this. I'm going to move it backwards a bit, like this, like that. And one thing I'm going to do is actually I'm going to extend it as well in case. Now I have my asset here, and then I'm going to essentially just export it. And the one thing that I like to do is I'm going to export it as a transparent background, so RGB plus alpha, and then I'm just going to export it to my Creative Kana 8-bit Lambo box, right? And then I'll render it. So whilst that's rendering and everything, just leave it there. To be fair, I'm not even gonna include the pop-in effect. I'm actually gonna cut it and everything. I'll show you guys what I mean when I get to it. But yeah, so we'll wait for that, see where it's going and everything. So that's how I do my text animations. It's so clean. I genuinely love it.
Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost us.
Alright, nice. I'm looking forward to seeing how this like ends up. Right, so once that's, I'll go to my custom asset bin, and then I'm going to upload that Kana Lambo box here. So it's gonna end up here, so I can, whenever I need to use it, I can just use it back in, like I can just go to it and everything. I'm gonna zoom out of this. Quick question. So now you can see like,
Quick question. Let's say these two cars.
now you can see like everything that I'm doing has a purpose. Like everything, I'm gonna make this 85. Actually, I'm gonna make it 90. That is actually so clean. I love the way it looks and everything. And now what I can do,
Let's say these two cars.
alright, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially do the exact same, because I already have the animation built out, the asset built out. What I can do is now I can just upload that image of the other car, which is here. If I can find it, it's here. Actually no, where is it? Yeah, I can just, where did I put that? Okay, I can just upload the other car here, highlight the part I want to move it out if I can find where I uploaded it here, right? Hold Option if you're on Mac, hold Alt if you're on PC, drag it on top, and boom, I already have the other car here. Now I'm gonna increase the size of it as well, and I'm gonna move it further up. So now I have the other car here. Right? So now I'm gonna export it as well. And look how quick that just made everything so much quicker. Now I know I can essentially kinda junk car box. Now I know I can just dynamic link everything, but then what that causes the workflow to essentially do is to essentially kind of like messes everything up to the point where it's like it's like very, very unmanageable. Like there's too many pauses, there's too many, and the render time as well, the playback is just terrible, and that's why I don't really do it, you know. That's why I'm making it like this. You know. But yeah, hope that makes sense. So now that I have this here, I'm going to, once it's finished exporting, I'm going to upload it here. And also one of the main reasons why I kind of copied and pasted this is because now I can just hold Alt and move that here. Wait, oops. I can hold Alt and highlight this and move it on top. And now, boom, they're both replaced.
Say these two cars. Let's say these two cars. Quick question. Let's say these two cars.
So right, I have that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for an 8-bit arrow. So I'm going to go back to Canva. I'm going to 8-bit, 8-bit arrow. I'm going to find something that represents an 8-bit arrow. Let's see. Something like this, but preferably white. I'd rather prefer that. I'd rather have that white, you know. Just makes life a lot more easier. So let's see if you can find a better one. Oh, I can change the color. My apologies, that was very, very stupid of me. But again, let's run it. So I have my 8-bit arrow here. Transparent background, we'll wait for it to load. My internet is not the best. I'm gonna essentially, because I have these assets downloaded now, I'm essentially just going to delete it now as well and make sure that's in. And you guys will all have access to these assets that I've been using. Like you guys will definitely have all access to all these assets that I've been using in my custom made preset pack, it's asset pack and everything. So yeah, let's have that there. Let's export it and everything. Now this is what I mean, like if you watch the previous modules, my workflow is so like, it's so messed up. Like kinda 8-bit arrow. Like my workflow is so messed up that it's like, it's so unorthodox, but it works for me, you know. And then I'm gonna upload this as well. Like this is just building your asset pack, you know. Like it builds your asset pack, and then for future edits you can reuse this, you can reuse the assets and everything. And yeah, so I have my 8-bit arrow here. I'm actually gonna, and now we're gonna go into animating. So I have my 8-bit arrow.
Let's say these,
and I'm actually going to animate it in. Actually no, I'm not. Never mind, I'm gonna fade it in.
let's say these.
Alright, cool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a floating effect. So I'm going to use a gentle shake preset here, so it has a floating effect.
Let's say these two cars cost
Like that. And now what I'm going to essentially do is I'm going to use the transform effect here. Transform, where is it? Transform, go down, untick this, turn it to like 260, and then essentially just move the positionings. So I'm gonna have it fade in here,
these two cars.
move the positioning here, like that,
costs the same price,
and go back a bit, add a preset here so it stops,
costs the same price,
and then I'm going to move it back here, right? And then I'm going to essentially easy ease these presets as well, so it just looks a lot more smoother. I'm going to actually increase the distance between the pause and everything here, so
let's say these two cars cost the same price.
perfect.
Let's say these two cars,
So as this arrow comes here, I'm going to add a preset at scale, have it here, and increase it to 105 or 100 even, right?
let's say these two cars
I'm going to actually easy ease this now.
let's say these two cars cost
And then as it slowly goes away,
the same,
I'm going to revert it back to, what was the original size? 90. I'm going to revert it back
it's the same,
90. But I'm going to go back. I'm going to set an animation here. And I'm going to essentially move this forward here. And then I'm going to set this at 100 as well. Now I'm going to use the easy ease keyframes and everything. And now here we go.
let's say these two cars cost the same price.
There we go.
Quick question, let's say these two cars cost the same price. Let's say these two cars cost the same price.
All right, cool.
Let's say these two cars cost the same price. These two cars cost the same price. Which one? Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Let's say these two cars cost the same price.
Nice. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have the arrow like move here and then slide in and say which one is easier to sell, right? So it's going to take some time to
Cost the
animate.
same price.
So I'm going to shrink. I'm going to actually animate the arrow first and everything. So let's add a preset here.
Which one?
Let's move it back. Let's add a keyframe here. Let's add a keyframe on rotation as well.
Which one?
Cost
Same price.
here. And then we'll move the actual thing here, right? And then we're going to rotate it by 90 degrees or minus 90. Now we're going to have to, this is going to be slightly weird because of the anchor point. Let's see.
The same price. Which
Let's actually easy ease this in as well. Let's see if it makes sense.
cars cost the same price. Which one? Cost the same price.
And then we'll slide it out. So
Price. Which same price.
we're going to make it a bit long. Like we're going to make that animation a bit longer because again, it's a bit too short like this. Okay, that's fine.
Price. Which one is
Alright, then we'll move it across like that.
two cars cost the same price. Which one cost the same price? Which one cost the same price?
Now as that's turning up, I'm also going to be shrinking this. So here, 0. And then I'm gonna make this, oh no, wrong one. Let's see. Let's move that forward. Like that, and then I'm gonna shrink it to 90 again. So
It's the same price. Which one is the same price? Which costs the same price? Which one is easier to sell? Cost the same price. Cost the same price. costs the same price.
Alright, we're gonna rework this rework this animation right here. So we're gonna have it pause a bit and we're gonna move it here.
Which one is which?
And then, okay, now we're gonna have to add our text. Which one is easier to sell? I'm gonna get rid of the shadow as well. Let me just get rid of the shadow. Let me turn it to black. Let me highlight this as well. And let me make this bigger. $140. I'm gonna move that arrow actually slightly lower so it covers that. So I'm gonna go back here and I'm gonna move the text back so I can use it as a way to measure. And I'm gonna move this down. So let's move this down. Let's move it here. Oops, that's the anchor point that I'm adjusting. Let's actually move these cars further down. Like that. And then let's move the arrow further down. Like that. So let's watch the animation.
Costs the same price. Which one is
408, 408, 2362, 2362.
Which one is cars cost the same price. Which costs the
Now I'm actually going to move this down. So each keyframe now I'm going to have to move down. So 1882, 1882, 1882, 1882, 1882, and then there. So with that being said, I'm also going to move this down further down as well.
Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Which price? Which one?
Nice, okay.
Which one is easier to sell? Well,
Then I'm going to move this arrow here, like that, out.
two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell?
Now there's a lot of like hit or miss with these animations and everything, since I'm doing it all in Premiere Pro. But again, it is what it is.
Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier? These two cars cost the same price. Which one?
And I'm actually going to just change this to is easier to sell. And make it bigger. Like that.
Two cars cost the same price. Which one? Which one?
Okay, here, now I'm going to use the mask effect. So as it continues, I'm going to mask path, feather,
Is easy.
and I'm going to go all the way to the end of this as well. Actually, a bit further back. And I'm going to move the mask path according to this. Oops. Oops.
Easier.
To sell. Like that. Maybe a bit forward. Now let's watch this animation back.
Which one is easier? Which one is easier to do?
Okay, now I'm going to layer the text below. So now it looks like this.
Question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, it's two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to
Nice.
cost the same price? Which one is easier to sell? Cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Cost the same price. Which one?
I'm gonna move the car animation slightly above.
Two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell?
Nice. And then what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna add a line to fill in this gap here, because there's a small gap here and that is kind of getting on my nerves. So I'm gonna add a stroke line right here. So let me find it. If I can't find it, I'm just gonna go onto my editing assets and I'm gonna go to line, stroke lines, and everything. I'm probably gonna find another one which is not my asset, but again, it's very, very helpful, very, very useful, and everything, and wait for it to download. So yeah, now I've moved this here and it has
Price. Which one is
and then I'm gonna have the line pop up here
easier to sell?
and make it bigger. Move this up top. There we go. Rotate it a bit. There we go. Move it a bit to the right. There we go. Then
Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious? Let's say these two cars cost the same price.
I'm actually going to compound this and move it a bit higher, like this.
Say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? These two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Same price. Which one is easier to sell? Easier to sell. Same price. Which? Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to?
Nice. Okay, I'm happy with that.
Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell?
Right, cool. Now once we have that, we're gonna essentially cut all of this. And I get pretty lazy with my transitions, so I just transition everything out like this.
Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious?
Let's see. I'm very curious to see what this looks like. If I had a glow here, it makes no difference.
Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier? Price. Which one is easier to sell?
There we go. So boom, we have our second scene done. Hey, so just continuing with my tutorial on my style breakdown.
Quick question.
So here
Let's
we
say
have-
these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious? It's the
So here I decided to use something from Canva and in After Effects. I use a CRT effect on this adjustment layer and everything, so it gives that 8-bit look, that vintage look. And then I also made my own star. So I cut it out from After Effects. Everything I animated it, pop in, pop out, and I sped it up in Premiere Pro. I compounded everything just so it's tidy and I can move everything around. It's in my asset folder and everything. And yeah, and I decided to add the crown here, add an 8-bit crown, and add the car here.
obvious. It's the Lamborghini, and I bet you.
And then I just like to chop it up here to add like a glitch.
And I bet you're wondering why the fuck would I even ask him? Let's say this piece of
Now, what I've noticed is the video is very stagnant. So when I say why the fuck, it's a point of emphasis. So when I'm saying a point of emphasis, I want to zoom in.
why
So if I say why the fuck, I'm gonna use the kinda zoom in effect. Actually, someone else's zoom in effect. Fast zoom in center. Right here.
why the fuck would I even ask that?
And then after that, I'm gonna cut here. And I'm also gonna get rid of the zoom effect as well. And then I'm going to essentially add a lens flare effect here to cut.
And I bet you're wondering why the fuck would I even ask that? So let's make
there, because I'm talking about a new topic here, right? So now here,
Why the
I'm going to actually add a text effect. I'm going to turn this white. So any point of emphasis, I'm going to essentially add text, you know? And the way I like to operate this is, I'll show you, because placement is so important. Why? So here, I'm going to keep everything as close to the center as possible. Actually, let's make that bigger. Let's make this bigger. Let's make it 200. And let's make it more center. Like that. So it's right under my chin. And then where I say the fuck, excuse the language, I'm going to add an asterisk here. I'm going to shrink it to 150 or just as small so it sits right underneath. Like this.
Why the fuck?
Cut that out. Cut that out.
Why the fuck would I even
ask that? Move it down.
Fuck would I?
Move that up. Now this does look quite messy. Would I even? Then I'm gonna move this out like this.
Why the fuck would I even ask that?
There we go. Cut that here. Put the text here. And everything. Now that this does look quite messy. And the reason why would I even... The reason why I have stuff like this, right, is because I want to make sure there's a balance. If it's sticking out there and it's sticking out here, I want to make sure there's a balance. Right, so I'm actually going to create a preset, drop shadow. I'm going to create a preset and I'm actually going to adjust this now. So I have the shadow. Where is it? I'm going to turn the direction all the way up. Actually, let's turn the opacity up. Let's turn the distance up so we can see where the direction is facing. So if it's facing all the way up like this, I'm going to move this down now. And then I'm going to turn up softness like so, like that. I'm actually going to move the direction to 0, I believe. Distance like that. And so on. I can even duplicate. I'm not going to duplicate. And now I can save this as a preset. So if you don't have to save as a preset, I save preset just like this. Save preset. Katna text layering shadow. And then boom. Boom.
Why the fuck would I even ask that?
Would I even ask that? Would I even ask that?
Fuck would I even ask that? Fuck would I even ask?
I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to get back to the drawing board and I'm actually going to make this 90. Right? Would I even... And I'm going to make this bigger. I'm going to make this 125. And then I'm going to make Y bigger. 222. Like that. So it sits on top. And then I'm going to move Astat here. Like that.
Why the fuck would I even ask that?
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that everything is aligned as well, so it just looks tidier.
Ask.
Like so.
The fuck would I even ask?
And if it ever looks like there's not enough shadow, you can always stack it up like that. And then, or maybe I'll leave it like this actually.
Wondering why the fuck would I even ask that? Why the fuck would I even ask?
I'm not too happy with that. Maybe I'm just gonna readjust the thingy. So I'm gonna Y. See, it's always trial and error with editing, right?
Y.
And then I'm gonna move this down here. So if I'm ever in a situation like this, I'm gonna fill in the gap. So you see, you always have gaps there where text can align and everything, and then boom. So it's paying close attention to shapes and angles and everything. Why the fuck?
Why the fuck
would I even? So here, there's way too much going on here. So I can eventually just shrink this, make it smaller, see that there, move it here. So now with the text placement, there's some form of layer there, you know?
Why the fuck would I even? Why the fuck? Why the fuck would I even?
And then I'll copy and paste this.
Ask
that here. So there's a, you see there's a angle here that I can pretty much tap into, and boom. So now everything is like symmetrical, everything's aligned and everything, and boom. Like, this is what I love about text placement, because it becomes so convenient. Now I know the text is quite big as of now, because if I zoom out, text is really big. So one thing that I can do is I'm gonna highlight all this and shrink it by 80, and that way it's more tidier, right? And also I'm going to reuse this animation here.
Fuck would I even ask?
And I'll include it here. So yeah, I'm gonna actually, so this is what I mean, that you can reuse assets just to save you time. I know it's,
Why the fuck would I even ask that?
I know it's lazy, but it just saves you so much time and it's so convenient, you know? So here,
Why the fuck would I even ask that? Why the fuck would I even ask that?
I'm actually gonna add some drop shadow. Kind of drop shadow here.
Why the fuck would I even ask?
I'm gonna make it as if it's so like blurred that you can't even notice the shadow there, like that. So just stand
Why
up.
the fuck would I even ask that? Why the fuck would I even ask that? So let's make this question a lot more interesting. Let's say this piece of junk is fully modified and has 1000 horsepower. A lot more interesting. Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious? It's the Lamborghini. And I bet you're wondering why the fuck would I even ask that? So let's make this question a lot more.
Now I'm actually gonna create an animation here. So I'm going to essentially go back to Midjourney. Type in. Let's use imagine 8-bit junk car cartoon orange fully modified and equipped with attachments. Let's see what that comes up with. Right, I'm gonna wait for that to start up, but yeah, whilst I'm searching for that, I'm gonna start searching for assets that I'm planning on using. So 8-bit cloud. Let's see. I'm probably going to use this. We'll see though. I like that, but I'm going to do another one. Maybe Yeah, I'm gonna do another one. Because again, like I need something that's a lot more cleaner and similar to this art style. So I'm gonna do it again, and I'm gonna look for another one. I'm gonna look for my clouds. Let's see. I think I'm gonna stick to this, but we'll see. That is nice. I think I'm gonna use this or this. Let's see what the asset. Yeah, I'm gonna use this. Alright, so we'll use U3. Save that. And then I'm going to essentially remove the background and everything from, I'm gonna close that in Discord actually. I'm gonna plug it into here, remove the background, wait for it to upload. Background remover. There we go. Let's see. I'll keep it at that. Hey guys, so last night I fell asleep and I did some extra work on the side. So I know I had my animation like this, but essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually change this to this. So now I'm going to be doing something like that where it transforms and everything. If you want to know how I made this, I essentially combined a bunch of assets from Motion Array and everything, and then turned them into 8-bit, right? So these clouds here, I compounded everything here. So everything is like compounded, and I essentially used the posterize. I used posterize, put it at 9, use block load, put it at 4, and then I just utilize the 3D camera just to zoom in and everything. With the tools, I used Mr. Horse plugins, and I just played around with the animations and everything. And yeah, like now it's pretty simple, but it's pretty effective. I did that, and now it looks like that, right? So now I'm trying to figure out what I could do to essentially move it onto the Lamborghini, right? Because it's, again, I say
This piece of junk is fully modified and has 1000 horsepower, and the performance of the Lamborghini is super mid.
Alright, and the performance of the Lamborghini is super mid. So what can I do here to essentially change it? Let's see what we can do. I'm gonna pause the recording here because I'm just gonna be thinking and everything, but yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to flip this now, and I'm gonna remove the shadow actually. Let's remove the shadow and everything. So everything's flipped, and I have my Lamborghini here. So I'm gonna download it as a transparent background, import it into my timeline, layer it below everything else. Now I'm going to turn it into 3D layer, and I want to actually make sure it's in front of this car right here, right? I'm just making sure that everything is aligned. I'm gonna turn up the scale to 110. Actually no, I'm gonna leave it at 100. I'm just making sure that everything is perfectly aligned like that, right? I'm gonna zoom out a bit so I can actually see. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have it fall and replace that. It's just gonna boom, boom, boom. Okay, so now, boom, boom. And now I'm going to actually animate the Lamborghini falling down. And I'm actually gonna go back, and I'm gonna adjust the rotations. I'm gonna turn it all on because, again, let's move that orientation, as in, actually wait, before we actually move it down, I'm gonna see it what it looks like first. So I'm gonna adjust that like that. Okay, then I'm gonna move it back up like that. So as it's falling, I want the fall to be quick, so I'm gonna make sure that there's barely any space between the keyframes, and then I'm gonna move it down, and then it's gonna hit the ground, go forward a bit, 1 2 3, jump back up, it's gonna rotate, this way. Go forward a bit. Jump back down. Go forward a bit. Jump back down. Jump back up. Rotate it now more or less like that. And then go back down. Like that. I'm actually going to make this 0. And go back down. So now, boom, like that. But I'm probably going to move actually no, I'm going to keyframe everything. Now I'm going to actually easy ease everything. Adjust the keyframes. And I'm going to move everything forward like that. Actually, let's see what we can do. Perfect. I'm just rewatching everything. It should be a bit quicker. So I'm going to move these keyframes closer to this, like that. Like that. Alright, cool. And I'm going to move it further up, so again, like the... Actually, no. I'm going to delete. Go backwards, delete it, so you can't actually see it. So now... Oops, I deleted the wrong thing. Let's replay everything. I'm going to delete this. And there we go. Deleting that. And then as it continues, so we have that animation that we built out already. Then it's going to fall in, boom, like that. Okay, perfect. Now what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to layer it on top and everything, just so I can see where, because I'm going to start using the mask effect. So I'm going to draw a mask around the car. I'm going to draw a mask around this car, like so. And I'm going to essentially adjust the mask so as it falls, I'm going to match it up as well. So let's open up this and find out where it falls. So transform, there we go, go all the way to the start, and then I'm going to go to the mask effect here, and then turn that on, mask path, highlight it, and then go all the way to the end. Actually no, I'm not going to highlight that. I'm going to actually highlight when the car hits, so it should be here. So I'm going to mask it here now, and then as I go forward, as the car goes down, I'm going to move the mask down like that. Move the mask further down like that. Like that. Actually, wait a minute. And then move the mask down like that. Keyframe easy ease. And everything. I'm actually gonna get rid of this keyframe. Alright, let's move back. Adjust the mask. Needs to completely disappear. I'm going to actually add more distance. Since it happens so quickly, it's fine. Alright, fine. Now it may look a bit awkward, but the way in which I'm going to fix that is I'm actually going to add shadow. Right? So I'm going to add drop shadow. I'm going to play around with the shadow. Shadow. Let's see. Is it? Let's see. I believe it's this. No, it's not. It is drop shadow, actually. And then I'm going to essentially move it down, move the distance and everything. Let's see. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste this like that, so they're both exactly the same. The only thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to change the actually, wait a minute. I'm gonna get a shadow from Canva. Drop shadow. Like this. And I'm going to use this. And I'm actually gonna make it a bit bigger. Like this. And I'm gonna export it. Transparent background. Like so. Turn it into thingy. Line it up here. So as it's falling, I'm going to increase the shadow. I'm actually going to increase the I'm going to add a lumetri color. So I'm going to go to lumetri color. And then I'm going to essentially turn down the exposure as the car comes in closer. So I'm going to set a preset there. I mean a keyframe there. Open up lumetri color. And see where I can go from. So as I start here, I'm going to set the exposure. I'm actually going to open this up a lot more. Basic correction, light. Move it here. Move it forward. Have it gradually get darker. Like that. And everything. So -2. As it falls in, easy ease that in. Like that. And then I'm also going to bring in that drop shadow now. So I'm going to bring in that drop shadow. Now I know this might look messy and overwhelming, but just bear with me. But yeah, bringing that shadow and everything. Turn it basic 3D. And then I'm going to change the position. Have it here. Make it wider. Like that, and then boom. Okay. So now I'm going to fade it in. I'm going to cut it in as I'm going to cut here, and then I'm going to fade in. Fade in. Like this. So as it's falling, and I'm going to make the fade in quicker as 1. Like that. Boom. And then I'm going to shrink it as it's falling in. Boom. Then I'm also going to shrink this, so scale it here. As it comes closer, shrink it like that. And then keyframe easy ease. There we go. So like that, boom, 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 boom. And everything. Okay, let me mute this guy. Let me mute this guy. My apologies. But yeah, ease in, and then it hits, And I'm actually going to essentially move it up as well. And then position. So set keyframe at position, and then I'm gonna move it inwards as well as it goes in, and then I'm gonna move it backwards. And then since it bounces up again, I'm gonna move it further up actually, like that. It goes up. I'm going to shrink it again, like that. Further up, make it actually bigger, and then as it goes down, I'm going to shrink it again, like that. So now I'm not going to shrink it too much. Like that. Like that. Alright, perfect. Alright, so now I have the Lamborghini, but in the edit I say that it is mid. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to essentially draw a circle, draw a layer. So I'm gonna use this, and I'm going to draw a graph. But turn off the fill and turn on the stroke, and then have it decrease over time. So I'm gonna draw a new one actually. Turn it red. Actually, you know what? Like that. Hopped in. And then I'm actually going to pause it here. So now that I've essentially done the animation and everything, so I've done it. Drop in, super mid. Okay. There. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially add the adjustment layer. And I'm actually gonna layer it there, and then I'm gonna use a CRT, kind of CRT effect. And what that's essentially going to do is gonna add that effect, right? I'm gonna actually get rid of a few glows and everything, so just so it's not too overwhelming on the adjustment layer. So I'm gonna get rid of this glow, and I'm gonna get rid of glow 3. Actually, let's get rid of glow 1, like that, just so we can keep that effect. I'm gonna turn up the glow threshold a bit, like that, and I'm gonna turn up the glow radius a little bit, like that, and then intensity, I'm gonna turn it to 0.5, right? So let's see, the car's there, there we go, boom. Now I'm actually going to add the adjustment layer here. Actually, I'm gonna layer it over. And then I'm going to essentially turn up this to 750, so it's not that blurry. Actually, no, 1000, so it's not that blurry as well. So you can still see everything. Super mid. There we go. And everything. So yeah. Now then, I might get rid of the glow. Let's see. let's see what we should do. I think this should be good. It's not too overwhelming and everything. Like that. Super mid. Now I think I'm with the text. I'm gonna actually make it go higher and whatnot, because again, I believe it's quite low, the positioning of the text. So I'm gonna put it here, and I'm gonna move it higher up like that. Same with the line as well. And I'm gonna move it higher like that. Super mid. There we go. Like that. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Actually, to be fair, I believe I'm gonna turn down the turn down the threshold to like 3. I'm gonna turn up the radius to like 300. Turn down the intensity to like 1, 2. Actually, what was the settings before? 0.1, like that. Now, let's see what it looks like without. Actually, let's get rid of that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my adjustment layer, and I'm going to layer it on top of everything, right? And I'm essentially going to add the CRT effect here. So I get that. Now that may look overwhelming, so I'm actually going to adjust it. I'm going to get rid of the, what was it? Vignette effect. So it pops out a lot more. I'm going to get rid of that effect. And I'm also going to get rid of this glow effect right here. And I'm going to turn up the threshold. So I have this here. Then after I've added all these animations, right, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to add my adjustment layer. I'm going to add my kind of CRT effect here. Now that may look super overwhelming, right? Really overwhelming. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take off the glow effects. So I'm going to take off the glow 2 effect, and I'm going to take off the glow 1 effect, like that, right? With that being said, I'm also going to turn up the glow radius. Actually, turn up the glow threshold, turn down the glow rate. Actually, no, let's reset those settings. I'm going to keep it like that. I'm going to turn down the intensity to -2 and everything, and we should have something like this. Now I do understand it's quite dark, so I'm gonna make this -0.1, like that. The car's there, boom, glowing, and the Lamborghini's there. Let's try 0.2. Now a lot of this is just trial and error. Yeah, so I'm going to use the alpha color channels. It works a lot better for me as well. I'm going to and then I'm going to turn it up to 750. no, 1000 actually, since it's essentially, I don't want it to be too overwhelmingly thing. There we go. Card drops, slides in like that. That's perfect. Now I might play around with the glow a little bit more. I might increase the threshold. Actually no, I'm gonna leave it super low. I'm gonna keep it at 215 intensity, like that. So everything's gonna be kept like that. Rotate, and then like that. Okay, perfect. So now I'm gonna export it and everything, and I'll see you in the actual Premiere Pro file I have so far. I made a few changes behind the camera, so I just added the text and everything. Another thing that I did was I added posterized time to give it a more vintage look. So I'm going to play it real quick just to show you guys everything that we've got so far in the first 20 seconds.
Quick question. Let's say these two cars cost the same price. Which one is easier to sell? Well, isn't it obvious? It's the Lamborghini. And I bet you're wondering why the fuck would I even ask that? So let's make this question a lot more interesting. Let's say this piece of junk is fully modified and has 1000 horsepower, and the performance of the Lamborghini is super mid. Which one is
Alright, now what we're gonna do next is I just decided to repeat this animation because again it just makes sense.
and it's still the Lambo. This is because the brand.
Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially grab the Lamborghini and turn it into a premium asset. Lamborghini logo and everything. I'm gonna use the gold version. Want the PNG. Can we get the PNG please? So I'm gonna grab the PNG real quick and I'm going to export it into my After Effects. I'm actually gonna create a new composition as well. Have that as black. Boom. Just make sure everything fits. And then I'm gonna import my Lamborghini logo into After Effects. Now what I'm going to do is I'm essentially going to turn this into a 8-bit style logo, right? So I'm gonna go onto this and I'm literally just going to copy and paste it because again, like, we want to work for efficiency. So essentially I'm going to copy and paste, if I can find it, here, posterized time and posterized load, right? I'm going to move it here and boom, there we go. We transformed it into a thing. Now what we essentially want is I'm going to want to highlight this and I'm going to want to make it more things. So I'm going to go to effect and then I'm going to go to grid if I can find it. If I can find it, I really can't find it. Audio 3D channel, distort, generate, noise and grain. I'm gonna add some grain first. I'm actually gonna add some noise first, and I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna increase it to about 5, right? Just add a bit of noise, and now I'm going to look for the grid. I'm just gonna actually search up okay, CC grid, and then I'm just gonna increase it there. Now you see that our picture has disappeared, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna essentially turn it into blending mode add, right? And now I'm gonna really zoom in and I'm going to want to match the pixels to the corner points. So I'm gonna place this here like so, and I'm gonna grab the other corner point and I'm going to place it here. So you can see now I have more of a effect on that, and I'm going to turn down the opacity a bit lower like this, around 20, and there we go. We have our Lamborghini logo that's 8-bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my adjustment layer. I'm going to add the CC Canna CRT effect, and I'm going to layer it on top like that. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to essentially adjust the logo and everything. I'm going to turn this up to 1000 like that, so it's a lot more clearer. And now I'm just going to add a transition effect. I might just fade it in. Let's see. Yeah, let's fade that in like this. like this, like so. I don't like that. So fade it in like that. Much better. Right, so now after that, I'm going to export it. Oh wait, before I actually do that, I'm going to essentially add CC Light Sweep. CC Light Sweep to the Lamborghini logo, and I'm going to essentially shine it over. So I'm going to keyframe this and everything from the start, from it loads in, add a keyframe, go forward a bit, and then CC Light Sweep it across. And then I'm actually gonna CC Light Sweep it to go back a little bit, like this, and I'm gonna leave it there, right? I'm actually gonna leave it like that because that's kind of perfect in my opinion. And then I'm just gonna ease everything. Now I don't know why F9 doesn't work, so I just do it manually for myself. Pop in, nice, like that. That is actually perfect. Okay, that's it for my thing. So now I'm gonna export it, and I'm going to export it as QuickTime RGB plus alpha, and I'm just gonna export it like this. Now I'm gonna get my custom asset folder, and I'm gonna upload it into this, just so everything is there. But yeah, after that I'm gonna import it into my project file and everything, and whilst that's loading, I'll end the video right here. And yeah, I've done all the things about cars and everything. I decided to add some dust here to make it a lot more realistic.
And the performance of the Lamborghini.
Now what I'm gonna do now,
Let's replace these two cars with two people.
so I'm talking about two people. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go on Pinterest, which is probably the best place to find things, and it's what I'm gonna search up: 8-bit chibi with black hair, like this. So I'm gonna find something which represents me, probably this. I'm not gonna lie, this probably represents me the best. Maybe this. Alright, we'll go with this. Or we'll go with this actually. That matches my skin tone a lot more. Alright, so I have my chibi now. And I'm going to drag it on like this. Right, next I'm gonna find another one where it's, let's see, we'll go with the bald guy here. And now we'll move it onto this page here and everything, because now I'm keeping it to the art style as well. So now what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually going to copy and paste it, just in case. Actually, I'm gonna remove the background before I copy and paste it and everything. So remove the background. Let's just check if I'm recording. Yes, I am. Now that I have it here, I'm gonna copy and paste it, and I'm actually gonna go back into the background remover and actually remove this part here. The reason why is because I really want, and there we go. I'm gonna remove it and everything. There we go. And I'm going to do the exact same but on the head. Like this. So now when I attach it, it's gonna look like that. I'm gonna move this behind and everything like that, and then I can have the head bobbing because that's the animation that I want. Right, now I'm gonna do the exact same here as well. I'm gonna remove the background and everything. I'm gonna copy and paste it. I'm going to remove the background and essentially delete all of these as well. You can turn it down just in case, like that. Should be good. And then I'm going to do the exact same here. Delete the body. Actually, no. Delete the head. Delete the head. Make sure a good amount is erased off. Let's delete more. Here we go. There we go. Boom. So now I have the head and body. I'm going to create separate files here and everything. I'm going to create a separate file here and everything. And then I'm going to move this up here. So now I'm going to export all of these. Let's listen to the audio.
Place these two cars with two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content, generates hundreds and thousands of cars with two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them cars with two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content, generates hundreds and thousands of views, cars with two.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to create a new composition. Right. I'm going to make it white and have it there. Whilst these are exporting, I'm going to export them here, import them into my After Effects, line them up and everything. So do I really want to do this? I'm going to use different ones. Or should I use this? Let's see. Hey guys, so now what I've done is I essentially repeated that same process. I just changed the asset here and I've added a few camera movements to have it zoom in. I've added this arrow and just like moved it back and forth and everything. So yeah, so I'm going to attach my audio just to make life easier for me. Here, and then I'm going to turn it down, turn the opacity down so I can actually see what's going on and everything.
With two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content,
But one of them
posts content thing,
we'll move this here then.
but one of them posts content,
Whoa, what's happening? But one of
both selling the same thing, but one of them with two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them.
Alright, we're gonna move this essentially here.
But one of them posts content, but one of them post.
Okay, I'm gonna actually get rid of this.
Thing, but one of them posts.
And I'm gonna move this here. And just to make it smoother, I'm gonna move it here. Like this.
Both selling the same thing.
I'm gonna move that there.
People, both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content.
Like here.
Thing, but one of them.
Let's move this here.
Same thing, but one of them. Thing,
I'm gonna move this here then.
but one of them posts content. Both selling the same thing, but one of them posts. Both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content.
Alright, I'm actually gonna leave it at that. And I'm gonna export it now and everything. And I'm going to essentially just render it and I'll place it in my Premiere Pro project and everything. But yeah, I'll wait for this to export and everything and then we should be good. I have my asset
These
here,
two cars with two people.
and I'm gonna add posterized time to these as well and turn it down to like 12 or 10, like this.
Two cars with two people, both selling the same thing, but one of them posts content, generates hundreds and thousands of views,
And
has
that's
client testimonials and case studies, and the other has like 10 posts and doesn't take content seriously. Who would you buy from? Obviously,
Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna copy and paste this exact pre-comp of this guy here into a new After Effects thing. So I'm gonna copy and paste it here and everything. What is going on? Alright, I'm gonna copy and paste everything here. Get rid of all the keyframes. There's no keyframes. I'm gonna move it to the center. And everything. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get money. So 8-bit money. Let's go to Canva. 8-bit money. Like this. Let's see. 8-bit dollars. Let's see if that works. Alright, let's go 8-bit money. Like this. Oh. What can we use? What can we use? We'll use stuff from... Oh, I like this money bag. But again, it's quite difficult. Let's see. Alright, we'll use this. It seems more realistic and everything. And then I'm gonna essentially go to Canva. Go to this. Add the money. If it loads. And then I'm gonna remove the background and everything. Export it. And then have it in After Effects like this, like so. Now it's all about layering. So I'm actually gonna go put it in the pre-comp attribute and everything. I'm gonna work from here because I already centered everything. And I'm gonna include the money here. And yeah, so let's go straight into it. So I want the money to be positioned. Let's not use that. Let's just layer it on top like this. So the money layered like that. Let's rotate it. Move it this way. Copy and paste it. Move it this way. Let's see if we actually scale it. Alright, nice. Rotate it. Like that. Although it's upside down, it's fine, it's whatever. Like that. And then let's go to shadow and add a drop shadow to our guy here. Let's change the direction this way. Let's change this to like that. Let's change the distance to like this and everything. And then let's also add animations to our dollar signs. So let's go to window, animation composer and everything. I'm going to move this here just in case. Made this smaller. And then let's look for an animation that we can use. So I want a floating effect, right? Like this. Obviously it's not going to be too intense. I want it at 30. That's a lot better. And I'm also going to include the same here and have it at 30. Now I also want transitions in for the money. So transition in for the money. Let's go to Premiere Composer again. If I can find it. Windows, Animation Composer. Let's open it up again. Nice. And then let's go look for an animation in. That can be that. Actually, let's have it as, let's remove that. Let's have it as comment rights. And then let's have this as, let's actually adjust. Let's have it go out. Let's have it go up. So they don't just move in the same motion. They're built like that. Alright, cool. And we're gonna have an animation left, like this. And then let's play it. Like that. So if I zoom out now, right, nice. And then this one, I'm actually gonna move it further in. This, I'm gonna move it further in as well, like so. And I'm gonna add some drop shadow. So I'm gonna copy and paste this exact same drop shadow and just add it here to these money dollar signs, like that. And I'm also going to copy and paste this and move it in front, just so, and then I'll move it down like this. And then I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna remove this. I'm gonna adjust this a lot better, so it just randomized. Oops, I removed the wrong thing. I'm gonna adjust this so everyone is, and then I'm gonna add a transition in where it's coming from the bottom. Now we can move like that. Nice. Okay, let's go back to the previous one. So I believe it's here, like this, and then I'm gonna add an adjustment there. Let's use adjustment layer, CRT effect, kindness CRT, like that, and then I'm going to turn it up to 1000, and then I'm also going to delete some relative amount of shadows, some glows, just so it's a lot more visible, like this. Okay, that's clean. So now I'm going to export it, and I'm going to have it as a QuickTime RGB plus alpha, and then I'm just going to render it. So whilst that's rendering, I'll wait for it to go back into my timeline and everything, and then we should be good. Just finished the entire edit and everything. This is the end result of the animation that I made and everything. I have all the effects here in this project file, all the assets I've used and everything. I got lazy towards the end, but now it's just adding captions.
Quick question. Let's say these two cars,
And I'm going to show you how I essentially do my captions. So I always have it at the settings as single, right? And then next, it's essentially going to be, I don't know why, but I don't really save this as a thing. I go to effects control, I go to SF Pro, and I go to semi bold, right? I always remove the shadow and I always move it up. Now I want to go to a point where I can see my face, right? And the reason why is I'm going to increase this to 55, and I'm going to always move this down to the bottom of my chin, right? If I want, I'm going to add shadow, and then I'm also going to increase the actual blurriness so I can actually kind of see it and everything, and it's going to look like that, right? So now I'm going to watch it through, and I'm just going to do my captions, and that should be it. Then it's sound effects.